Honestly, I got an iFunny too. Like I got it named after Podcast of Poseidon.
What? Wait. Wait. You can't just. I'm our branding manager. You can't just do it. You have to run this by me.
I got an iFunny
madman.
if you guys want to message me on there. Like I guess I'll respond. It'll be weird, but
Wait. Okay. So, very clearly, what is the iFunny called, and how do they message you on it?
Podcast of Poseidon, and you could just DM accounts. I think I got a name Podcast of Poseidon. Let me take a peek here. I know I changed it a while ago. No,
I need to review the account. You can't just do this.
Totally fine. Oh, no. So I haven't named Barry Celery, but the picture, my picture on it is Podcast of Poseidon. I was meaning to change it, actually.
Hello, mortals, monsters, and myth lovers alike. You're listening to Podcast of Poseidon, where we explore ancient myths and their modern retellings for reading Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This is Chapter 14, Poseidon. I'm your co-host, on loan from the Hunters of Artemis, Darien and Smartt. Joining me is my co-host and brother, hailing from Cabin 1, DJ.
How's everybody doing today? If you don't know, Cabin 1 is Zeus, and, you know, being a child of Zeus, I got a little thing against Poseidon. But we're here to talk about him anyway.
And we're going to be nice.
Be nice, I suppose.
Nice as we need to be, but not nicer than we should be.
Yep.
But before we get started, let's swing by the camp store and make sure we have everything we need for this quest. Hey DJ, guess what I just found in the camp store?
Oh, what did we find?
Our new patron, Timothy O'Connor.
Oh, thanks so much, Tim.
Tim has joined the team as a podcast hero. And DJ, do you know what that means?
That means he's donated $10?
It does. It also means we actually have to start recording Remyth episodes.
Oh, well, it's a good thing we were already planning on doing that anyway.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Do you think you'd like to hear about Hercules?
Oh, I bet.
Perfect. And with Tim, that brings our number of patrons on Patreon up to 5, which means we will be donating $25 to a reading literacy program this month.
Heck yeah. This month we're donating to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library.
This is a remarkable organization founded by Dolly Parton, which gifts high-quality books to children from birth to age 5, no matter their family's income. It started in Tennessee, where Dolly grew up, and has expanded to include the entire United States, as well as organizations in Canada, the UK, Australia, and the Republic of Ireland. This organization has been awarded a number of various awards, including the Best Practices Award from the Library of Congress Literacy Awards. It's just a really cool program, and something we're really excited to support this month with help from our patrons.
Thank you so much, guys. We really do appreciate your help and your support. It's incredible.
Now, back to our quest. All right, DJ, it is time to talk about Poseidon. So here's an easy one for you. What do you know about Poseidon?
He is the Greek god of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's pretty cool in the books. I very much enjoy him, in the books at least. That's really all I got off the top of my head. Father of Percy.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, spoiler alert.
So yeah, here's a novel idea for this podcast in which we discuss the stories by Rick Riordan. Do you want to talk about what Poseidon is like in the Percy Jackson books by Rick Riordan?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, he seems to be like generally a caring father, as caring as he can be, being married to another person in the sea, and also a
Titanus,
god.
I think
it's Titanus. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think Amphitrite is a Titanus.
I wouldn't put it past like Greek mythology. A lot of shit. Hecate's a Titan. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't know that, but I didn't know that. But yeah, like that's generally speaking. He seems to be like just like a good dude. Mm-hmm. Tries to be at least. As much as you can be when you're a guy who cheats on his wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I like Poseidon as a character in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and I like Poseidon when he's featured in a lot of things because a lot of times he is pretty cool about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's all I got.
I think, yeah. I definitely think as far as like the gods go, Poseidon gets a nicer treatment, probably because he's Percy's dad specifically.
I also think the Greeks were like more open to the sea and the oceans than a lot of like especially the Romans.
Well, they're right on the Mediterranean, so
yeah.
There's a lot of
so were the Romans, but the Romans fucking hated it.
Yeah, well, the sea is scary and not to be trifled with. My good friend and former guest Skylar Barsanti will tell you. The ocean belongs to the sharks. We don't go on their
ocean-
territory.
The ocean is not some place that you want to dick around and...
You don't. And Poseidon is not the kind of dog. He's not the kind of god you want to dick around with, because the ocean on some days is lovely and fair and a beautiful place, and some days will murder you. Just, did you see what happened to Elsa and Anna's parents in the beginning of Frozen?
To be fair, I wouldn't say that was Poseidon's fault. That was his daughter, Kimopelea. Who is the only reason I'm bringing her up right now is because I just came across her in The Blood of Olympus.
I was like leaning for. I was just on bated breath. Like, DJ, please go on. Tell us more about. About. I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, Kimopelea. She comes up and she's like just mad because she's been forgotten, which
What would you do?
Yeah. So
Like, girl,
I'm like,
I get it.
Like it's rough. I'd be mad that I was forgotten too. Who are you again? But yeah, and then I remembered, the moment they, walked up to her, Percy and Jason, I'm like, oh, right, her! But she's the goddess of the raging seas and, the angry seas. She's the fucking goddess responsible for that kind of stuff.
So she's the reason the king and queen of Arendelle were killed. Okay.
Yep. That was
All
not
right.
Poseidon. Though it is Poseidon's realm, Poseidon did not have anything to do with the storm.
Okay. I like that. I like, also, Poseidon, in addition to being the ocean god, he's also called Earth Shaker because he's the god of earthquakes, which feels like a very land-based thing.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if this is true or not, but when I was, reading up on it and thinking about it, it actually tying an ocean god to earthquakes makes a lot of sense, because if you are a coastal dwelling people, after an earthquake, you might probably have to worry about tsunamis.
Yeah.
Because the
Earthquakes
most
are often
dangerous
tied to tsunamis.
Yeah, the most dangerous and powerful earthquakes that occur are on those deep sea fault lines. And that's where we get those deadly tsunamis and stuff. That's makes sense that you would have a connection between a sea god and the earth actually shaking. So
Yeah.
I have a lot in my notes about Poseidon and the Trojan War. I forgot I did that. Wow, I learned a lot about it. So this is great. So I do want to talk about this. Poseidon does not let go of a grudge. And this is why he sides.
I'd say me too, but that's just not true.
No, it's not. You are just the most. It's over.
Oh, who
Fuck it.
cares?
You're the god of it's all in the past.
Essentially.
But so Poseidon sides with the Greeks against Troy during the Trojan War because one time Athena, Hera, and Apollo and Poseidon decided that they were sick of Zeus's bullshit and decided they were going to overthrow him. And that doesn't go great. And when that plan fails, Zeus sends Apollo and Poseidon to Earth and punishes them by making them serve a Trojan king.
Okay.
And so the king has them build these great walls around Troy, and when they're done, the king refuses to pay them. So when and Poseidon did not forget this. And when the Greeks go to war against the Trojans, he's like, fuck it. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I'm taking my walls back, fucker.
Yeah, basically that. And just and he didn't just support them from the sidelines. Hey, go team, here's a buff. He would full on show up in the battlefield. He'd full on disguise himself as soothsayers to go and rally the troops. With the Zeus was no one gets directly involved, but everybody was getting involved.
The Trojan War was just kind of a fuck it.
Just basically that there was this interesting thing that Poseidon does. Well, he also sends a sea monster to torment the Trojans because, again, Poseidon does not forget when you have slighted him, which is something I can relate to.
Yeah.
Perhaps I am the goddess of not letting go of grudges. Hey, my good opinion, once lost, is gone forever.
Yeah.
But this was something I found interesting. I actually I've read the Odyssey. I have not actually read the Iliad. I'm really excited for us to get into that when we do. I think probably Battle of... What are we talking? We'll figure it out in the future. Stick with the podcast. But though Poseidon supported the Greeks, at one point he does stop Achilles from killing a Trojan warrior named Aeneas. And just real quick, shout out to listener and my dear friend Drew, who it just really vibes with the name Aeneas and has used it in many nerdy things. Just
Nice.
I love you. So Poseidon stops Achilles from killing this guy because Poseidon knows that Aeneas is destined to become a king of Troy, which means he can't just die on the battlefield. Once again, proving that the fates are more powerful than any god or their petty-ass grudges.
Well, yeah. He's like, hey, man, just... We don't fuck with the fates, all right?
We don't fuck with the fates. No.
Everybody agrees. Yeah, don't fuck with the fates. They'll just make it happen faster.
Yeah. So after the Trojan War... Or not after, so... Double back. But Poseidon does make it up to Achilles by saving him from drowning at one point. Did Achilles need saving from drowning? Is that something that could have killed him? Yes?
Yeah.
No? Do we know?
I'd say yeah. Because drowning, the river of Styx blessing gives you, what is it? Just like hardened skin. I don't think it makes you immortal.
I
think
it makes you battle. It's on the insides.
Yeah. I think what it does is it gives you the blessing of being immortal in battle. Drowning is not necessarily a battle.
Thank you, DJ. So after the Trojan War, Odysseus erases all of Poseidon's goodwill when he mocks Poseidon's Cyclops son, Polyphemus. And just Poseidon, who is a petty-ass god who never forgets a grudge, make sure Odysseus has the worst cruise that anyone has ever had in their entire life.
Yep. Boy, ain't that the truth.
Yep.
It's funny that you would actually bring up the whole Poseidon trying to overthrow Zeus thing.
Uh-huh.
And then he gets sent down and has to be a servant to a king. Now, I've read a webcomic called The Athena Complex. While there are some themes in that comic I don't think you'd vibe with, like Athena having quite the crush on Poseidon.
Gross.
Yeah. What I do like about it is just like their characters, and also that punishment that that Zeus had inflicted. It was just to Poseidon, but instead of being, oh, you're a servant for however long until the king dies or whatever the fuck, no, you just are human and you're reincarnated as a human every time that human dies. And
goodness.
the starting premise of this is that, well, while the crush to Poseidon being a spoiler, it starts off as Athena wanting, because Poseidon tried to use Athena to overthrow Zeus because of the prophecy that was like, oh, if you were born a son, you will overthrow your father. Okay. And so he tries to use that prophecy because obviously Athena still has the power to overthrow her dad, just doesn't want to. Yeah. And so tries to use her. And then Athena's like, yeah, I'm going to go get revenge and become this guy's best friend. And the whole time is disguised as a dude. Because she's got very manly features. And it's like Korean anime style, so you can't really tell. But it's pretty great. Becomes his best friend and just keeps saving him.
Oh, goodness.
Keeps helping him. I'm like, I get it, but also this is weird. It just actually came back for season 2, and I need to get back into it because I actually very much enjoyed reading it. But nice. It was a good time.
Is it Athena Complex?
Athena Complex.
Nice.
Yeah. That was one thing that Poseidon's been in recently that I saw that I really liked.
Nice. Would you like to also talk about Smite?
Smite?
Yeah.
Smite? Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk about him in Smite because he, as with all the other big 3, is a fucking mage.
Wait, what?
Yep, they're all mages. All 3 of them. Hades, Zeus, and Poseidon. All 3 of them. They're all mages. And they're burst mages too, which is fun.
Okay.
They just deal so much damage. He's got a buff that makes him deal a little extra damage and sends out 2 extra basic attacks per hit. Obviously, he's got a trident and he sends out a little blade of water for his basic attack. Mm-hmm. And then that buff gives him movement speed and plus an extra whatever. Then he's got a line that's like a wave that pushes, and it goes pretty far. It's a good distance and deals way too much fucking damage. And then he's got a whirlpool that pulls people to the center and cripples them, and crippling makes it to where they can't use a dash or a jump. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty nice. And then his ultimate is like, release the Kraken, and like a Kraken comes up and flops around and does a lot of damage. And if you hit them in the center of it, it knocks them up and stuns them. So that's nice. But enough about that. Let's get on to his skins, because he's got one skin that I really fucking like.
Okay.
He's got one skin. And now this is also just like a... Hold on. I'm trying to bring it up so I can show it to Darien. But this skin, this is part of a line of skins.
Am I supposed to be able to see it now? Oh, okay,
no,
there
can.
it is.
It's called Freedom Overlord.
Oh, why? Why is Poseidon this?
Well, Zeus has an Uncle Zeus skin.
Oh, okay. Does Hades have?
Hades does not. He doesn't have a skin yet. I wish he did. That'd be a lot of fun. But
It's just Uncle Sam.
Yep.
It's just real buff Uncle Sam. But why But Poseidon is Water Boy.
But Poseidon is Water Boy. So in the back there, you can see that like eagle. That's the Kraken. That's what comes up when you use his ult. And he just comes up and flexes in different poses. It's great. And when he
stand.
Yeah, right. It's great. And then when you're like, and then you can see some of like the other Freedom skins.
Uh-huh. Oh.
There's Nike. Nike's fun.
Oh, I like Nike.
Street Style. Oh, that's a different game.
That's yeah. I'm like, I don't think that's Smite.
Could be Smite. You know, like that's why I had to take a look at it. It's
yeah.
It's one of their other games. But no, yeah, they have several different ones, and man, it's just a good time. That Freedom Overlord skin. So he's like that, and that's what the Kraken looks like. And he's riding on top of a jet fighter, and his staff is that like winged golden eagle. And when he throws out, the jet fighter shoots a missile, and his wave is just another jet fighter that goes up and then flies up after it's done.
Do you have this skin?
I do. So I have just about every skin in the chest because it comes around every year on the 4th of July, and they add like two more skins to it.
And you've played forever.
And I've played forever. And every time that chest comes out, I'm just like, okay, roll, and I get all of them because all of them are so much fun. They're all like so creative. Nox has a Statue of Liberty skin, which I really like. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, like I already had like all the skins in that chest when that skin came out, so I'm like, sick, only 400 gems. Nice. I very much enjoy the skins in Smite. They always make really good ones.
They are fun. Yeah, I was looking up the ones for Artemis, and I'm like, oh shit, these are actually really cool.
Yeah,
they're cool.
I think she's got a Star Guardian one. It's not called Star Guardian. It's Mystic Archer. That one was really fun. Enough. All right, so that's it. That's all I got for Smite.
Nice. Well, I think as you mentioned earlier, like Poseidon is such like he's a major god even today, and he's in a lot of stuff. Like his little section on Wikipedia on like contemporary appearances is way massive. Longer.
Yeah,
so
I bet.
For our conversation, for what I wanted to bring to the table regarding like modern Poseidon stuff, I decided I wanted to do something a little niche and bring to the podcast a passion of mine: theme parks.
Theme parks.
I love theme parks.
God, theme parks are great.
And hey, here's something you'll be surprised to, maybe you, DJ, will be surprised to learn. Poseidon's been or almost been in several theme parks.
Oh, I believe it. I do believe that.
Yeah. His most prominent one that you could find here in the U.S. is going to be a walkthrough attraction at Universal Studios Orlando's Islands of Adventure called Poseidon's Fury.
Ooh.
And I watched a walkthrough video on YouTube of this thing, and
is it cool or is it bad?
It's not good. Okay, so when you're walking up to it, visually stunning.
Looks dope.
It's crumbling. You get Atlantis. It's a crumbling temple, right? Like you're going into this lost temple. That's the premise, right? You are touring a lost temple of Poseidon. And the tour guide, it's like a scripted performance. You're going through these areas of this temple, and the tour guide has a script. They're interacting. There's like pre-recorded things that they interact with. Essentially, you learn that this was once a great temple to Poseidon that was sealed by Lord Darkon, who was a follower of Poseidon until he killed everybody in the temple as a sacrifice to the Dark One.
The guy's name is Darkon?
Yes, and then Darkon gained powers to challenge Poseidon. And then when they fought, he turned Poseidon into a statue.
Oh gosh.
So
I
the
assume
tour
then
guide.
the ride is going through and freeing Poseidon?
Well, okay, so it's here's the thing. It's not a ride. It's a walkthrough attraction, which essentially means you're just walking through these exhibits and you're going to the next room, and then they do a bit. You go to that. So that's what makes it like not good. I have never done a walkthrough attraction that or even like
I thought
really
the
like.
Finding Nemo one was a walkthrough attraction, or was I just not remembering that correctly?
Oh, I don't. Was it a walkthrough or was it an omni mover?
Darren, look.
I can't see. Oh,
On my,
huh?
yeah, there she goes.
Oh, Money. Sorry, we had a rare appearance by DJ's cat Money.
My cat is very shy, like incredibly shy.
But the fact that she came out is.
She's been out and about a lot.
That's
Sometimes
so
I'll see her like literally coming up right next to me to either look at this the axolotl or just like in the kitchen or something. And I'll look and she'll like immediately bolt off the moment I turn to her, which is why I didn't do it, just so you could see her. I'm like, oh,
I did, yeah.
Oh.
Money, so yay. Okay, well, I'm
Yeah.
glad I got to see her. I'm glad she's feeling more comfortable in her environment. That's good.
She's out and about and just like coming in and out of my room a lot when I'm like going to bed.
Mm-hmm. I usually cut cat shenanigans out of the episodes. There's a lot of them with Hero. I'm gonna leave this one in because I'm so excited that Money is adapting well. This is to celebrate. All our listeners get to know. But yeah, Money, thank you for joining the podcast. Yeah, so I think there's only like one walkthrough attraction that I've ever heard of or seen like stuff through that I actually would have really wanted to go on, and it was at
Impossible
Disney, the Tokyo Disney Park. There was this walkthrough attraction underneath the castle that you would encounter villains, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
And it was really cool, and like it would culminate in like a standoff between you, like your party, and the Horn King from Black Cauldron.
Ooh.
It looked
Black
rad as
Cauldron
hell.
reference
I would have
fucking-
I mean, it was totally in Japanese. I still would have loved to have like gone through it just because that looks a guess. So they don't do a lot of walkthrough attractions for a couple of reasons. One, they're kind of hard because you can't direct what people are looking at. You can't control their foot. Like in an Omni mover, like when you're in the Haunted Mansion, it's taking you through and it can turn and you it's like you're being directed. Like, look at this cool thing. Here's this cool thing. This is the order you should view things to get the full experience.
Yeah.
You can't do that walkthrough. They also aren't good at getting a lot of people in and out because they tend to take a long time, so you don't see them very often at big theme parks. But essentially, like, through the course of this you're going through the temple, Lord Darkon is threatening the party, your tour guide is doing their best to be as peppy and excited as they can be. A goddess makes an appearance. She doesn't have a name, she's just, I am the goddess, guardian of the temple. And you're like, did no one Google Greek mythology? I guess it was did no one get an encyclopedia? Did no one ask Jeeves about Greek mythology? Like,
nobody asked fucking anyone about Greek mythology.
What are we
like,
doing
come on.
here? So the tour guide happens to find Poseidon's trident, gets it to the statue, and then there's this massive screen battle between Lord Darkon and Poseidon, and then you get to walk through a water vortex. And
It's all right.
it seems if we were going to Orlando, and we're going to Islands Adventures, I would 100% do this because it looks wacky as hell.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in time, Lord Darkon calls Poseidon his mortal enemy, which is just factually incorrect because Poseidon is a god and therefore not mortal.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting ride.
It is. And would you like to hear about the original iteration of it? Because this version that exists now isn't the first version of this attraction.
Oh, jeez. What's the original?
The original one actually makes more sense with the ride or with the attraction being called Poseidon's Fury. Because in a different version, you're still in Poseidon's temple and your tour guide is like his wizened old keeper of the temple, and he regales the audience about an apocalyptic showdown between Zeus and Poseidon and how... Oh, and you're literally in Atlantis. So this is when you walk in, you're like, this looks like Atlantis. It's because originally this was supposed to be the lost city of Atlantis where this battle took place. When you go into the temple, it awakens Poseidon, who is like an evil, vengeful god, and he locks the tour guides inside, and you have to travel around and like escaping Poseidon's attacks until eventually the wizened old keeper is revealed to be none other than Zeus himself, and then they have this grand showdown.
Nice.
And then everyone is magically Zeus saves everybody because yay, Zeus is the good guy. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah. So that I would still do it, even though I think it probably would be mostly boring. And I guess if you're gonna go, from what I read, if you're gonna spend your time on this ride, on this attraction, before you do so, make sure you ask if the water effects are working, because that's the coolest part of the ride, is walking through this crazy water vortex tunnel at the end of it. So basically, if you're gonna do that, make sure that thing is working before you spend your time on it. Now, I'd like to talk about another time that Poseidon almost showed up in a theme park, and this time he would have appeared in Disney's Epcot at Disney World.
Oh, that would be sick, because Epcot's got a big old fucking lake in the middle.
Okay, actually, that would have been amazing if Poseidon Rise, like, that wasn't exactly the plan. Shout out to themeparktourist.com for their in-depth history on this. Their article titled Epcot Lost the Living Seas and Found Nemo. Let's dive into this lost legend is where I, like, got a lot of this stuff. I won't dive too much into it, because even though we have been to Epcot, we did not go to the Living Seas Pavilion. Our family definitely just stayed around World Showcase.
I could have swore we went to see that Finding Nemo one. Because I remember it.
Okay, you must be right, because I remember it too. I thought
I think we went to go to just the Finding Nemo one.
Okay.
I think that's all we did there.
That makes sense. So,
and then we went to go see the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids thing.
Did we do
or
that?
Honey, I could have swore we did.
My memory is bad. I remember so little, but I
think we saw the posters for it.
Okay. So, right. So that the Nemo thing we went to used to be an exhibit that was just called Living with the Seas. That was like just super scientific, which makes sense because Epcot was supposed to be like this very educational park.
Yeah.
But early on, the idea for this was to have guests enter this like underwater grotto where as soon as they would come in and the theaters were closed, all of a sudden the building would like shake and mist would come through and it'd be crazy, and like Poseidon would appear, god of the seas, and he would like calm the seas and basically be like, come and invite you to explore the ocean. And then you would like go into these like glass bubble omni movers that would take you through like a massive underwater, not like a massive aquarium. You would go through a massive aquarium basically.
Mm-hmm.
And explore all of this stuff, and that sounds like it would have been kick-ass.
No, it sounds great.
Things changed in the planning process.
Yeah.
You don't always get the blue sky version.
Essentially, I think there needs to be more just like Atlantic's the Lost Empire representation.
If the movie made more money, the submarine voyage in the parks would have become Atlantis Lost Empire. Literally, in the movie, when the movie had shortly come out, there were banners on the submarine voyage saying like, "Oh, soon to be journey to."
They should have just done that.
It
was their fault the movie didn't make any fucking money.
Look, okay, the reason Tomorrowland in the parks are not good is because the Tomorrowland movie did bad. So like, we can't always get what we want. So we never could have gone to the Living Seas because, as you pointed out, it was already Nemo by the time our family went there and visited in 2009. But before Finding Nemo came out, there were already plans to redo the Living Seas area as to be like incorporate characters and make it more like family fun. For a time, they were planning on turning it in, or like reskinning it with The Little Mermaid and calling it Under the Sea and like making it about like Ariel stuff, which Poseidon would have ended up in Epcot after all.
Yeah.
If you
was he Poseidon at that, or was he Triton?
But the question I have for you, DJ, is King Triton Poseidon?
No, because he is Poseidon's son. He's meet
Poseidon's
Triton.
Son. Is he?
Yeah, we meet Triton.
Okay, yes, but Disney does what it wants, so.
Disney does what it wants, true. But if they were gonna say Poseidon, they would have called him Poseidon because they called him Zeus in fucking Hercules.
Point.
And Poseidon, we see Poseidon in passing too. That's not Poseidon.
No, that's just some guy. Okay, but wouldn't it be wild if it was King Triton and Hercules like, wait, what?
All right.
So you're spot on, DJ. He is on. I think it's explained in maybe like the Little Mermaid TV series or a book or something. I don't know where this information comes from, but according to the Disney Wiki on King Triton, he is the son of Poseidon and the grandson of Neptune.
That's
So
weird.
we're just playing Calvin Ball with mythology at this point.
Essentially, yeah.
His wife was Queen Athena, who's just not Athena. Her name just is Athena. She has nothing to
Okay.
do with I don't know why. They thought maybe because an Ariel and fun mythology name,
Yeah.
and all of her sisters already have A names, so it's like they were really limited on what they could pick.
Maybe.
Also, just real quick, I wanted just to shout out this sentence describing King Triton from that same wiki. The handsome, feisty, and sassy Triton rules the undersea kingdom of Atlantia.
Sounds like the Arthur had a bit of a crush on him.
Someone's super thirsty for Ariel's dad, right?
Yeah. I don't know about that one, Chief.
I don't. Yeah. And we talked about Once Upon a Time, the Disney fairy tale soap opera, in our last episode about Zeus.
Yeah.
I will be bringing up it again because when they do Triton they do Ariel in Once Upon a Time, totally different from the original Little Mermaid myth, totally different from the Disney story. And when they do Triton, he is Poseidon. He is Poseidon, and he's the father of Ursula.
Huh.
And that's just
Interesting.
stuff. That's the later seasons that we just are disappointed in because
The later seasons.
they had some good
When
stuff.
would you say it stopped getting good? Around what season?
They should have ended it 2 minutes before the mid-season finale of season 3.
2 minutes. What happened 2 minutes? What happened the last 2 minutes of that episode?
In the last 2 minutes of that episode, everybody's happy. We get this beautiful montage of all the couples are reunited. Everybody's happy. Emma and Hook have finally confessed their feelings for each other, and they're going to be a thing. Regina, aka the Evil Queen, is with Robin Hood. Love it. Super into it. But then in the last 2 minutes, that whole last episode was some time travel shenanigans. In the last 2 minutes, we find out that the woman that they saved from the past and brought her to the future with them was Maid Marian, who was Robin Hood's wife, who has been dead for like almost 30 years now.
Okay.
But now she's back, and no time has passed
drama.
for her. And then drama, and then in the last 45 seconds of that episode, a mysterious silver urn breaks, and this pool of silver comes out, and it coalesces into the unmistakable figure of Elsa as she strides down, leaving a path of ice.
So Poseidon in Once Upon a Time.
That was it. That was the end of it. It was just he's
Alright.
Ursula's dad, and he's in like part of one episode.
Oh, that's weird.
He was cool though. Here's the thing though. We talked about how
Zeus
Zeus
looked fucking weird.
Poseidon, he was cool. I don't know the actor's name, but his design was pretty neat. He had a very imposing presence. I bought
Oh,
him
hell
as,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That guy looks dope as hell.
I bought him as like, you are a Greek god. Like, you are bringing with you this
Ernie
like,
Hudson. What else has he done?
Ernie Hudson. Yes, it's Ernie Hudson.
Yeah. So he was. Oh fuck, he was in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he's Ernie Hudson.
I don't know them all by like name. I know Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. But I only know Dan Aykroyd.
50% of the Ghostbusters.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know Dan Aykroyd solely because of the fact that what is his name? JonTron did a fucking video on Dan Aykroyd because Dan Aykroyd's got a Crystal Skull vodka.
Yes, he does. Oh my god, are we going to talk about Crystal Skull vodka here for a second? Because we are, at that point, we're super encroaching on podcasts the rides turf. Talking about theme parks, talking about vodka. Oh no, talking about Dan Aykroyd. Oh no, I'm so sorry. A side note, if anybody knows the good boys and like wants to tweet at them and say, hey, you should have Darien from Podcast of Poseidon on to talk about the Looney Tunes log flume ride, from Six Flags Over Texas. It's the very first
Dude,
theme program.
I
It's the very first ride I ever
love
remember
that
going
ride.
on. Yeah, we'll both.
That ride's the best.
I could talk about that ride for ages and the experience of going on it as a child, and I would be more than happy to dunk on the nonsense that is Six Flags. Like,
Dude, Six Flags is insane. I want to
if
go
anybody
back.
has the pull and wants to be like, hey, if you need a guest, like, I would die. I would be so fucking happy to talk about my favorite ride of all time on.
That's your favorite ride of all time?
So, okay, Haunted Mansion for the technical achievement and the historical value of it. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout Monsters After Dark for the thrill and exhilaration of it. And then that Looney Tunes log flume ride, which the name escapes me. Something about Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, it's Yosemite Sam's. You know what? Fuck it.
I just remember it as Looney because it's the first ride I remember going on as a child, and I remember riding with Mom and it being like, "Oh no, the dynamite's gonna explode! Everybody, duck your head down!" And I duck my head down so I couldn't see, and I hear the explosion. I go back up, and oh my gosh, Daffy Duck's all exploded now. That was like amazing. How did they do that?
Yosemite Sam's Gold River Adventure.
There it is. I definitely. So I'm just saying, hey, listeners, if you want to. Just, hey, tweet at them. We're super cool and we love theme parks. All right, we should talk about Poseidon, I think.
Yeah. So back to Poseidon.
Let's talk here. Okay, here's what I want to talk about. So, do you think Poseidon is a good dad in the Percy Jackson books?
In the Percy Jackson books, comparatively, I think he's a good dad.
Bar so low.
Yeah, the bar is really low. Comparatively, I think he's a good dad, though there are stories of like Hermes going and fucking like just taking his kids out sometimes, which I'm like, Hermes also has like the benefit of being able to do that because at the time in where we are in the books, Poseidon can't really acknowledge Percy.
No, he's not allowed to.
He's allowed to acknowledge him once he's done great feats of things. Such as, returning the lightning bolt and other such stuff. I think what makes Poseidon a good dad are the gifts that he sends on to Percy. Which, sure, that is just his genetics, but it has saved Percy thousands of times that, like, I don't know. Like, it makes up for him not being there, I guess. He did send the Nereid to help Percy.
He did. I guess, like, given the context of, like, one, you weren't supposed to have a kid anyway, so, like, get a condom.
Yeah.
Have Hephaestus make a condom. Like, this is on you. But we have Percy, and he's great, so we're thankful for that. I think Percy talks about in the first book where he has this vague memory of, like, this golden light. Like, he has a feeling that he met his dad, and when he tells his mom, she's like, nah, he left before you were born, baby. Like, you never met him. But, like, Percy's like, no, I thought I did. And I think
when he thinks about his dad, what he remembers of his dad is a warm glow. Yeah.
And so I think, and we do discover that after Percy was born, Poseidon did come and visit Percy at least once and see him. And I think all things considered, we can't.
Yeah, okay. Poseidon also left them that lake house. Or not the lake house, beach house.
Okay, you say this. Did he? Do we have... Is that just where they go? Or because I don't think that's theirs. I feel like that's a place they rent when they have the money.
Maybe.
It might be. Because he offers to give... Because here's the thing I saw pointed out where it talks about, like, how all of these parents in all the human parents are kind of terrible. But in truth, they are just humans who fell to the temptation of loving a god and we're not able to let it go. And the only, like, human parent we see who's, like, on it 100% is Sally Jackson because she let Poseidon go 100%. He was like, I'll give you treasure. I'll build you a palace. And she's like, I don't want anything from you. The only thing she kept from him was Percy because that was hers.
Yes. And I can agree with that to a point. I will say Annabeth's dad is pretty fucking solid. We do not see him be good until about Titan's Curse.
The difference is, like, Annabeth's dad had to get there, right? Because he couldn't get over the fact that, oh, I had a thing with Athena, the goddess. And so when he, like... So
he has brought up to Annabeth that he has never actually stopped loving.
Yeah, and I
Athena.
think that was why his relationship with Annabeth when she was young was so difficult, because he could never really give Annabeth all she needed, because he could never let go of the fact that he would never be able to have Athena back.
Yeah.
So even with like his wife, and when they had the kids and stuff, like they were, not to say that he didn't love his wife or like his other children, but they probably like, there was this difficult relationship because Annabeth could never be part of the fold because he could love them completely without anything, and Annabeth always came with a restriction, and that is unfortunate, and that is a demonstration of like the human aspect, like couldn't let go of the god, basically, or the goddess in this case, whereas Sally Jackson was like, well, this is fun, all right, you gotta go, bye
like, oh shit, you're fucking
bye.
You're a god. You can't stay. Get the fuck out of here.
You a castle? No, I don't want that. Thank you. I'm good. I'm with child, and he's gonna take priority, so we're good.
Yeah.
But we're talking Sally Jackson, great mom, not in question here.
No.
As I
said, comparatively,
I
think he's a good father.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about good dads, Poseidon will not show up.
No, if we're talking about the grander scheme of things, and that's a great point, because I was thinking about how at the end of the book when Percy meets Poseidon for the first time and he's kind of angry with him. He's like, "You never said hi. You didn't help me. All of this is because of you. You weren't even supposed to have me. You couldn't just make nice with Zeus, and you never even sent my mom a goddamn child support check. Like, she had to marry Gabe and put up with this like abuse for who knows how long, because you couldn't even be bothered," which we already talked about. Sally was not going to accept anything from Poseidon. That was important. But he's so angry. And then at the end, what does Poseidon say to him? I'm going to pull it up real quick because I think this is super important.
Pretty sure he does say he's proud of him, doesn't he?
He does. It's, yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry you were born, child. I've given you a hero's fate, and a hero's fate is never happy. It's never anything but tragic. I tried not to feel hurt. Here is my own dad telling me he was sorry I'd been born." It's like leaving. I was 5 steps away when he called. "Perseus." I turned. There was a different light in his eye, a fiery kind of pride. "You did well, Perseus. Do not misunderstand me. Whatever else you do, know that you are mine. You are a true son of the sea god." As I walked back through the city of gods, conversation stopped. The Muses paused at their concert. People and the satyrs and the naiads all turned to me, their faces filled with respect and gratitude. And as I passed, they knelt, as if I was some kind of hero. And I think when Poseidon like "Oh, you're mine," and when Poseidon gives Percy that validation, it, I think, deeply changes the way Percy thinks about his dad in a way that I can really relate to, because I can definitely get being angry with your father, having a difficult relation, and like wanting to be like, I want to just, no, I don't need you. I don't want to talk to you. You've caused me nothing but trouble. And then just getting that moment of your dad being proud of you, and all of a sudden, that's all that matters in the world.
Yeah.
And so I get that. I think that's where I like most relate to Percy and his relationship with Poseidon, is like, I love our dad. He's done his best, and sometimes he's fucked up really bad, but I do love him, and I'm glad I have him. And for all the times I've been angry with him, I also remember all the times when it made me feel really good knowing that my dad was proud of me and that he was glad I was his kid.
No, yeah, and I super get that too, because obviously we share the same dad.
Well, what twist, y'all?
Oh, crazy. No, I super get that. It is as much as like growing up, it was kind of hard to make him proud, especially with the fact that I didn't do sports. I did okay in school. There was a lot of things that and I didn't share a lot of the interest with my father. But like growing up, I do see that like there were times when like he may not have showed it, but I knew he was proud of me. And nowadays he's like constantly says he's proud of me, and so I'm like, oh hell yeah. Yeah, I'd say Poseidon's an alright dad in the books for sure. Better than most other godly parents, but not really the best dad for godly parents.
Honestly, the best dad of the godly parents.
Huh?
Who's the best dad of the godly?
I was about to say I might choose either Hermes, aside from the way he treated Luke Castellan, which was pretty bad.
Yeah, how about Luke?
Yeah. The way he went about Luke was pretty poor, but he did take care of Luke's mom. He did. Hermes went and checked in on Luke's mom, mainly because it was his fault.
I don't know if it was because I guess we'll talk about that when we get to
that. Man, that's
Last Olympian.
fucking yeah. That is Last Olympian. Yeah,
but I don't know if it was his fault because he did warn her and he was warned.
Yeah,
something
he
she
warned
wanted
her,
to
but
do.
it's something that like came about because he told her about it.
But I mean, you tell your significant other things. You share things about the world with them, and she was the one who. And
she was the one who really did probably changed Hermes possibly for the better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like it is pretty rough. He did say, "Hey, man, don't do that."
Yeah, he was worried about it. I don't know. You support your partner. You give them all the information that you can. He didn't know about the curse.
Hermes didn't know about the curse?
No one knew about the curse.
No, Hades knows it. Hades knows about the curse.
Yeah, because Hades cast the curse, but no one else knows about the curse
Zeus
on
knew
the
about
oracle.
The curse, yeah?
No one else knows about this thing. Because Percy even notes, like, when he's seeing this, like, the past, he's seeing it happen, he's filled with dread, because he's like, oh my gosh, they don't know.
Okay. I guess that does make sense, since it really was just...
they just thought it wouldn't work.
Nico might have actually known about it.
Oh, yeah, but Nico wasn't there. But Nico
was there.
Yeah. He might... Well, he wasn't there when Luke's mom was...
No. I'm talking about when he was there when the curse was cast. Because the curse...
Was he in the room, or...
Well, what happened was... Either he teleported them away really quick or like put some to protect them, but the building that him and Nico's mom was in collapsed. So, and then Hades cursed the oracle. It's like, you did this.
Hades was grumpy about that. I can see that.
Poseidon. Hermes is best dad.
Poseidon.
Hermes is a good dad. Dionysus might actually be the best dad, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like a great camp counselor, but...
No, but he cares about his kids.
He cares about his kids. And he's definitely a present father.
Is heartbroken when one of the twins die. Yeah, like, he's fucking heartbroken
brutal.
when that shit happened. I think it's Castor.
It's Castor or Pollux is their name.
I think Castor died.
Yeah.
And he was heartbroken. And, like, Percy notes on it. It's like, yeah, he's been crying. Like, for a god, he's been crying because he lost his son. Like, understandable. That's rough.
Yeah. Wow, Dionysus.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I know. But...
And neither of his sons become resentful assholes and then become an avatar for an evil titan. So, that's a plus in his favor.
That's a plus in his favor.
Or Hermes.
Then again, Luke Casson was also sent on one quest, almost lost his eye, and was just like, okay, you're done, and got cast aside. His sons probably, like, Dionysus' sons were like, I don't give a fuck.
Fair. You can't really judge people based on the same, like, it's not, everyone's in a different experience. You can't tell what someone's going through.
Yeah. I was going to bring up Poseidon in Hades.
A little late in the game,
late in the game. I did kind of forget about it. I haven't touched it in a while. I need to get back into it so I can actually learn more about why and what's going on.
It's not an episode of Podcast of Poseidon if we don't talk about Hades, so please, DJ, go on.
It's not an episode of Podcast of Poseidon where we talk about a god where we don't talk about Hades or Smite.
Okay, all right, fine. Just be pedantic, sure. That's what I need today.
Yeah, right?
Fine.
No, Poseidon in that one, he's fun. He seems like your typical surfer bro. He's got some fun dialogue with like Artemis and Athena, obviously, because sometimes he'll like just jut in, say you got like something for Athena, and he'll just like, hey, what's going on over here? He'll jut in, they'll have like a little back and forth, and then you can get a boon that's like both of their powers, which is pretty sick.
Nice.
But he's fun, and he's like obviously calling you nephew and shit compared to cousin like all the other ones. He's like, nephew! Can't wait to get you up here. I'll teach you how to surf or something like that. I don't fucking.
Aw, that's
he's just
cute.
he's just a fun character in that, and I like his design a lot. I think it's dope as hell.
Nice.
That's really all I got for that one.
What is his boon?
He like gives you like powers of waves. Like if once you use your special, it actually like it sends like a wave of water and pushes people back or
cool.
Some shit like that. It's really dope.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Awesome. Well, DJ, I don't have anything left for Poseidon.
I don't got much left for him either. I was trying to think of what else he's been featured in that I like play, but not much. Not much and not prominent.
Okay. Well, in that case, DJ, I think we did it. This is it. This is
season 1, baby.
This is season 1. It's a wrap. What is up,
Holy
y'all?
shit.
Yes. So this is the last episode of season 1. We have covered all the myths that appear in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. But wait, I hear you say, what about the Hellhound? What about Argus? What about the Naiads? Well, fair listener, if you are a patron at the $5 tier or higher, you will have access to our bonus content, and you'll be able to listen to next week's bonus episode where we do a myth roundup talking just about those myths that didn't have enough meat for an episode, but deserve to be addressed still, because they are good and they have survived through the ages.
Yeah, and another thing that I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
For those of you who have been listening for a while, know that my microphone has been trashed.
Oh, yeah. We probably should have talked about that from the top.
I know, right? I totally forgot. I got a new mic. You probably could tell immediately. This is the first episode. Well, the first base episode. The past two, the last one and this next one coming up, the next Bunker 9 episode coming up.
Oh, we also haven't announced on the main feed yet that we are now calling bonus episodes. Join us at the Bunker 9.
Yeah, join us at Bunker 9 because Bunker 9 is actually a secret bunker in Camp Half-Blood that I tried to bring up when we started this podcast, but Darren steamrolled right over me. And I'm like,
just
all right,
liked my idea better, and it was not the better idea.
Yeah.
So, now it's Bunker 9.
Now it's Bunker 9 because I like that.
All the same fun content. You get the blooper reels, the outtakes, you bonus episodes, remyth episodes.
Remyth episodes at $10. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, just join us at Bunker 9. It's a good time. We always, I don't know. Again, we like we said, we talked about the Naiads and such as that, but we also talked about Pixar movies.
That episode went off the rails. Yeah, so here's another reason why you should, if you've been thinking about whether or not you want to, support us on Patreon, you do not have to. It is totally up to you.
We'd appreciate it if you did, but you don't got it.
If you don't got it, we appreciate your ears. The fact that you give us your time, that is worth so much, and we appreciate that. But we are going to be taking up a little less of your time for a while because we'll be going on hiatus.
Very brief hiatus.
Just to take a break and maybe record a bunch of episodes so we are not literally recording less than a week before an episode's supposed to go up.
Yeah.
We will be back on May 25th, back to our regular episode schedule. But in the interim, you can continue listening to us every other week if you support us at the $5 level or higher on Patreon. We will still be doing bonus episodes. So patrons who are in Bunker 9, don't worry. We've still got you. You're still going to get fun, weird episodes. And everybody else, we're just going to take a little bit of a break, get back up, take some time off. DJ's moving pretty soon, so that's going to be a thing. Our brother's getting married pretty soon. That's going to be a thing. But, yeah. Oh, we could do a bonus episode on, Greek weddings.
Ooh, we could.
That would be fun. The roundup of,
Try to convince Johnny to get fucking in here.
Oh my god, that'd be so fun. But, yeah. That will be it. And then when we come back, Tuesday, May 25th, it's time to start the Sea of Monsters.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for that one. Second favorite Percy Jackson in the Olympians book.
Nice. What's your first favorite one? There's only 5 of them.
Battle.
Battle is good. I like Titan's
Curse. Titan's Curse might be my least favorite.
Oh, goodness. Well, I haven't read them all in a while, so I will be rereading them.
Though I enjoy Titan's Curse. Least favorite loosely, right? I love them all.
Mm-hmm.
They're all so wonderful.
It just happens to stack that way, but it's nothing against Titan's Curse.
I'd say Battle Labyrinth, that's a 98%. Sea of Monsters, about a 92%. Okay. Lightning Thief is 90. Well, no, because they're all A's, actually. They're just so good. I can't, it's hard to rank them after those first two.
Yeah, it's like them.
Because The Last Olympian's fucking great, has so much good in it, and then fucking Titan's Curse introduces the saddest character. Oh. He is. I'm in fucking Blood of Olympus, and I'm we're obviously getting the chapters where we're in his head, and I'm Nico's just the saddest character. Not he's sad. He's been through so much, and I love him, and I want the best for him. But holy fuck.
Yeah, he's got some trauma. He needs to talk it through. He needs to get a better support system that aren't.
It's a great support system.
Yes.
Yeah. Then I went ahead and with the 7 credits that I had on Audible, I'll just go ahead and get all the Trials of Apollo. I'll start those next.
Oh,
and I'll grab the Magnus Chase books, and I have to grab the Ship of the Dead. Then I have all of those. But yeah.
Yeah. So in the meantime, if you really really miss us and want to hear, you can donate to the Patreon. That gets you instant access to all of the bonus episodes. And if you only have $1 to spare, that's also fine. That gets you access to the blooper reels, the outtakes, all of the nonsense that I take out of the main feed episodes because we are a tightly edited podcast and I pride myself on that.
Yep.
I don't know if that'll be true for this episode. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that is it. I guess before we say bye, I want to take this chance to really thank all of our listeners.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you've been listening since October when our first episodes went up, or if this is your very first episode and you just happened to stumble on it and you figured out, like, Poseidon, I'll listen to this one. Like, thank you again for giving us your time because, goodness me, do we know the value of time? Do we know how little of it we seem to have? And the fact that you spend any of it
listening
on
to us.
our show. Yeah, that just... DJ and I made this podcast because I knew it was something worth making.
Yeah.
Like, the premise of exploring...
Yeah, she was on the fence about it. I told her to just quit her job and do it, and lo and behold, she did it.
Okay, well, let's yes, I quit my job.
The absolute mad woman. She fucking did it. Can you believe it?
I
Took
quit my
advice
job
from
and
me.
started a podcast. Maybe these two things are related. Maybe they are not. But yeah, I had just quit a long-time job and was actually unemployed when we were making the early episodes of the podcast. But it has been wonderful just to see this show connect with people and have listeners listening every
Yeah, and
other
just like
week.
the
Like,
fact
it's
that we're getting like 50 or 100 people a week, or an episode, that's pretty great. Like, I gotta say, like, that's awesome.
It's
Or
really
downloads or
cool.
whatever.
I can't interpret any of these stats I see on
Yeah,
but
we
I like
just-
to see the numbers.
The numbers grow, and I like that. That's very
I like
pretty,
that.
right? You know?
It's cool because it means y'all listen and you like it and you keep listening and then you
like it
tell
enough to
people
just
about
continue
it.
to listen. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I also want to thank anybody who's listened and has told their friends or family member or anybody about this podcast, because putting your name on something someone else makes is a big deal. And so thank you for the faith you've shown in our show, for just telling other people about us. Like, that is wild. That also means so much, because I don't recommend just any podcast to any of my friends. Like,
Yeah.
you have to know that you're gonna love this, and so we deeply appreciate that. The fact that you also want to have your friends spend time with us, that's cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And if you guys have gotten this far in the podcast, right, if you have been watching us since episode 1 or went back and binged it or whatever you're going through, we love you so much. And if you haven't tried Smite or Hades at this point, I don't know how much more I can recommend either of those games. Actually, I barely recommend Smite. I love Smite. Love it to death, right? It's one of my favorite games.
Twist! Just
It
absolute
is
shattering the podcast
Yeah.
to Poseidon canon.
No, I
Davis doesn't
love
recommend Smite.
I don't recommend Smite because it's one of those games where I play it, I love, but I hate it. You know, it's like has 20,000 hours in it, does not recommend kind of Steam review, you know, fucking, if you've ever seen those memes are hilarious.
You are that meme.
I am that meme with Smite. I love it, and but like the community's kind of toxic sometimes.
I mean,
The balancing, it always has issues. It's a MOBA if you're playing a MOBA with no balancing issues, you're not playing a MOBA.
I guess it's fair. So basically, what you're saying is, if you miss listening to podcast of Poseidon when we're on hiatus, go ahead and play Hades or
Play
re-listen to
Hades
old
or play
episodes.
Smite.
Don't
Play Smite. Play Smite.
You just
Yeah.
just said.
Listen.
I know what I said.
It's a love-hate relationship with Smite. All right. I want people to play it. I want people to enjoy it. That doesn't mean they will.
All right. Wonderful. I also, hey, we'll be on hiatus. We are looking to review what we like about the show, what we want to do better, what we want to do tighter. I definitely want to talk more about the actual books in the episodes, so we're going to work on that. If you have any feedback for us, anything at all, feel free to reach out to us. Yeah, we would love to hear from you. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We've got a Facebook. I don't really use it, but it's there. You can send us an email at poseidonpod@gmail.com.
Thank you so much for watching. Listening.
Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. We will be back Tuesday, May 25th with a brand new book and tons of new myths and crazy adventures in Camp Half-Blood to dive into.
Heck yeah.
Take care, everybody. And until next time, Don't be like Zeus.
Don't be like Zeus.
Podcast of Poseidon is created, produced, and hosted by Darien and DJ Smartt. It's edited by Darien Smartt.
Our music is Athens Festival by Martin Hain. And our cover art is by Audrey Miller. You can find her on Instagram at bombshellnutshellart.
Like the show? Ready for more? Support Podcast of Poseidon on Patreon. Just $1 gets you exclusive bonus content. Find out more at patreon.com/podcastofposeidon.
Come hang out with us on Twitter or Instagram at Podcast of Poseidon. You can also find all of our episodes and episode transcripts at podcastofposeidon.com.
Thanks for listening.